This is Art Post Cove, the show about art post COVID. If you couldn't tell by the title, you're probably an idiot. This is going to be a real banger of an episode. We have Duncan back, and we are going to be really quite honest. We're going to shit on the Grammys, or at least I am, and then Duncan's going to play devil's advocate.
I've had people pay me to hear my thoughts on music. So as a music critic now, I feel like I have to defend. I've become a shill for the Recording Academy is essentially what has happened.
Exactly. And we're back because we've got this little thing coming on Friday called A Light of Hope. Very not generic recital name. That is gonna benefit the Polaris Orchestra in their fight to have all demographics represented in American orchestras and having education for everyone and making music a viable career for anyone. And so we're doing that recital at 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time because it's that time of the year. Had to get it right.
Baby. I have to say, that's my biggest pet peeve across my entire life is when people write EST when they live in a time zone and live in a city that observes daylight savings time. And I say, no, these are different abbreviations for different reasons. If you're giving me an email that says EST, guess what? I'm tuning in an hour later because
yeah, absolutely. But no, we have a lot of great performers from all over the country that we've tried to reach out to and have in this great recital. And all proceeds go towards the orchestra, of course. And it's also just having a good family moment, a little kumbaya, if you will, with people in the art industry and everything like that. So big hype on that. This is your bonus episode. And so, yeah, let's shit on the Grammys. But first, the drink of the show, because we're talking about something that makes me exhausted. I'm having a beer today. It's going to be your standard Bud Light of Germany, Beck's. I have four. So the local grocery store that I go to for my hippie vegan shit, that essentially has deals for this. This is a tall boys, 4 $4 of Beck's. Not a bad deal in my mind's eye because you ever bought a beer at a bar in New York? It's like $6-8. I literally was at the bar last night. I'm not joking you.
Yeah, I have bought drinks in New York. And it turns out that they don't card, at least around 127th or whatnot.
Yeah,
my drink of choice is just my FDA recommended third cup of Respect Woman juice.
I'm sorry, did you say lemon juice?
Respect Women juice.
Oh, Respect Women juice. Okay.
That's right.
That's the thing of the day. Respect women, people.
Yeah, please do.
March, guys.
And respect Asian people too. Respect Asian people. Denounce white supremacy. Let's just all get on the bandwagon on that one.
Yeah, I had a bad day, so now I'm gonna shit on my podcast about the Grammys.
Good.
Like an adult. So yeah. All right. Anyways, here we go. So what we're gonna do is basically see wherever the hell this goes. This is completely free form. There's not really too much structure to this, and we could go absolutely insane for 45 minutes, and I'm sorry in advance, but
that sounds like my typical Friday night, my friend. Going absolutely insane for 45 minutes.
Well, yeah, if I could automatically start like conflict right here. Before I listen to this, I listened to the arguable best album of the 2010s, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West, and Duncan completely disagrees.
Absolutely not. There's too much filler on that to be the best album of the 2010s.
I never heard the story though.
Is the best album of the 2010s.
Yeah, I can actually agree with that too. However, I never heard the story, and I was very interested, and that's what kind of got me into it. I didn't know the story of that album, that he like did it all under like wraps and like nothing, no tweeting, no nothing. It was a really cool story to hear about the making of
Well, I actually just read this book called How Music Got Free, which talks about the MP3 online piracy around music around the turn of the millennium. And yeah, a big motivation.
LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire, Kazaa, Napster, all of them folks. But in that book, it talks about just the proliferation of leakage online of these MP3s just ripped from discs that were pulled out of like literal polygram manufacturing plants. And so the reason that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was so deeply under wraps was because Kanye was cracking down on the leaks, because Graduation, not the album before, but two albums before, was leaked 2 weeks before its premiere date, and he was so absolutely upset about that.
Yeah, I believe it. But here's a
But hey,
segue. Kanye won a Grammy this year.
yeah, best contemporary Christian music album goes to
Yeah,
Jesus is King.
yeah.
I wrote down some of my Grammy predictions this year. I actually did not have I had a prediction for that category, and I predicted that they give it to Kanye because I recognize no one else on that list, and I'm sure that 95% of the Grammy voters also didn't recognize any other name on that list.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. Like literally.
And I think it ties into some of what I predict Isaiah's complaints about the Grammys are, which is that people will just go with the biggest name rather than, what is perceived as the best musical album.
All right, all right. You don't have to spoil it so early, but let me hit this thing here. So we're gonna go over the four big categories, starting out with best new artist. Um this one, yeah, I don't listen to all of these artists, but Doja, Megan Thee Stallion, Phoebe Bridgers, these are the ones that I obviously immediately recognized. Megan Thee Stallion winning makes total sense. But at the same
Yeah.
time, Phoebe Bridgers. Ah,
Look,
snubbed.
I named Phoebe Bridgers Punisher my best album of 2020. So
Yeah.
I wear my Phoebe fandom on my sleeve, much like Sir Elton John. But
Yes.
it's really hard for me to argue against Megan the Stallion winning, considering that both Savage and WAP absolutely dominated so much cultural real estate this year. So I don't see that. K-Tronada, I don't think should have been nominated, considering he's been like on the scene since 2011. Um,
Yeah.
Doja Cat, yeah, pretty much like the big hit that dominated TikTok. Noah Cyrus, I
Mhm.
don't know. And then there's one other.
Oh, there's two more. There's three more. Chica, Ingrid, Andress, and D Smoke.
Yeah, Chica, good to see her shouted out, but she's holds nothing compared to Megan the Stallion. I mean, Chica
Yeah.
was only just a double XL freshman this year, whereas Megan was a double XL freshman in 2019. So she already had more of that momentum building behind her. D Smoke, just kind of from what I know, kind of a one hitter, looked kind of like
Yeah.
Doja Cat. And then Ingrid, I'm not overly familiar with, so I won't comment about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like to just build the arc, Megan the Stallion made sense. Culturally, that makes sense, because of her influence with Savage and WAP. You know, you definitely heard about those songs. You even get the fucking everyone knew, at least I know, the Savage remix X Tiger King. Um, you know, I'm a savage, you know.
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Yeah, that's what it is. Killed her husband, whacked him.
Yeah,
Get him to Tigers, they snack in.
exactly. So yeah, Megan was kind of a no-brainer, even though I do have that personal preference towards Phoebe. I cannot argue against the Megan win.
No, Megan was spectacular. One of the best like new like people to pop onto the scene. 2020, no question at all. With
Oh,
TikTok and yeah, super super TikTokable songs, and obviously you got the memes raging about
yeah,
the
yeah.
Grammy performance of WAP.
I'm done. I'm
uh,
done arguing with people about the culture war because I don't care enough.
yeah, vibes.
I literally don't care enough to argue with you. So just get out of my face.
God, what was the thing that like they were comparing it to? I keep forgetting. They were like saying that like
There
something
was
else was okay, and then but WAP wasn't. Or it was something about
well,
like
there was the
conservative
front
Christians or
man.
something.
there was the frontman of Skillet, which is a Christian metal band, who compared the Grammys to naturally Adolf Hitler. Him and Candy Owens both really just going deep dive in on that, and uh, Jesus, yeah, yeah. See, again, I don't care enough to get into
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's scoot along. Not gonna miss good old everyone was very happy to see Harry Styles get a Grammy. Best pop
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
Watermelon Sugar, still don't know what it is. It's something about cocaine and something else, blood something.
It's a drug, but it's also based off of the title of this book called oh, what was it? Something something in Watermelon Sugar, and it depicted this whole like utopia scene, which I think Harry kind of encapsulated pretty well in the
Hmm.
song. And
Yeah,
yeah, good good pop solo performance. I'm a
yeah,
fan. Love it.
yeah, 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 I felt good. I felt good about him getting that. I mean, I barely heard it, but like I didn't realize. Like, here's the thing with the Grammys this year. I'm already getting beer burps. Ugh. The thing with the Grammys this year, I feel like a lot of the songs, because I kind of hid in my own corner and just listened to Jacob Collier, over and over and over and over and over again. So I didn't listen to really anyone until we got a lot closer. But I think with that is a lot of the songs that like I didn't recognize by name. As soon as I heard them, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, this was
Mhm.
literally everywhere at one point sometime last year. Okay, fine. But yeah, that was people really wanted Harry to win a damn Grammy, so they gave
Yeah,
Harry
Harry's
the
been
damn
putting
Grammy.
in the work. He's
Yeah,
definitely made the most like so far furthest developed member of One Direction in a solo career. So yeah,
yeah,
good to see Harry win.
yeah, yeah. All right, moving along here today. We're moving to Song of the Year, which, I don't have any complaints. I dug the winner. Winner being "I Can't Breathe" by Her.
Yeah,
Great.
I'll be honest. I didn't listen to it until it won, and
Same.
then I listened to it, and I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I support that. My favorite going in was the box, but I
Hmm.
predicted that it would go to Cardigan, and I'm glad.
Oh, yes. With every loss, I get stronger. I tweeted that and then deleted it after Album of the Year was decided, which we'll get to in a moment of frustration.
Mhm. That's this. See, the thing is, I feel like I would be really good at Twitter, but it just takes up too much space on my phone and too
Mm.
much space up here.
How much
Like
space do you have on your phone, Duncan? You're still rocking that dinosaur, right?
it's a Samsung. I mean, it's only what
Okay.
2 years old, but I'm constantly have only half a gigabyte free at any given point. It's a
Bruh.
16 gigabyte phone, and I'm constantly at like
16 gigs.
yeah.
That definitely peaked. I know that peaked. But 16 gigs? What the fuck are you doing? How the hell do you only have 16 gigs on a phone? How is that sellable? In the modern day, everything is so big.
I'll give you an
What the
answer.
fuck?
I'll give you an answer of how it has 16 gigabytes. It doesn't have Twitter on it.
Is Twitter
Every
that really is Twitter really that big? You
no,
literally
what's really big is my Instagram and my Spotify, but I refuse to give up either of them.
absolutely not. Yeah, those are like so crucial. Like what?
Yeah, although on my Spotify, what I have to do is I have to constantly delete the cache, and then I also have to, if I want to download a playlist, I have to undownload the last one I downloaded.
Right. Yeah,
It's just
literally.
like a life for a life.
A life for a life for a life. Let me see here. I'm trying to check my phone. I always make sure it's not under 100. Like I just I download everything. I have
I also have horrible cloud storage. Like I have no cloud storage whatsoever.
see
That's
I got so many damn apps too. Like I got like 4 full pages, 5 full pages of apps. I mean, but they're all useful for me, you know? Let me see though. Storage. Oh my god. Oh, geez. Where's it at? Oh my God. I don't even know how my phone works. 128. 128, that even then that feels a little low.
Yeah, you have 8 times the storage that I do.
Yeah, I don't know how that is legal. Well, when did you buy it?
I bought the well, I this was a replacement phone for my old phone.
And that was an old phone.
This was spring of 2019 that I got
Bro,
this.
how is that allowed?
Hey man, I make it work. I
I
work that shit
understand. Indie
because
bro
I am a
in
minimalist
residence.
boy.
Minimalist indie bro in residence. Duncan Holtzall makes 16 gigs work. I would rather vomit. I would rather just not have the damn thing. Um, so yeah, I'd rather just read a book instead. And you still read a book. That
Yeah,
probably
I read a
honestly,
book because I only have
honestly,
16 gigs.
yeah. Bro, where are you at right now? Book number 9?
Yeah, I'm working through number 9
Bro,
right now.
I'm on number
Playing
2.
Changes by Nate Chinan. It's about
Oh,
the 21st century state of jazz.
yeah.
So it's going through people like Vijay Iyer, Robert Glasper,
Okay.
Kazi, Esperanza, anyone, a who's who of modern day jazz.
Okay. Dope. But yeah, let's just run through the song of the year stuff so we can get on to the biggest
Yeah.
dog shit in the whole fucking thing. Um Sorry guys, this is a bonus one and I'm drinking and so I'm going to be a little rowdy and upset. All right. So song of the year, we had Black Parade, great song. The Box, as you said, I've not listened to The Box. You said it was a great song, so I'll
Oh
say
yeah,
that.
it's so catchy. That's what
It
really
is.
got me about it. And because its catchiness is not reliant on the production, like it's not the beat that's catchy. It's literally Roddy Ricch's vocal line and his lyrics, which is what the song of the year category measures versus the record of the year.
Gotcha. The Box, who's The Box by?
Roddy Ricch.
Oh, what a fuck. What the fuck? I literally see the name and it literally I just doesn't register. So then Cardigan, Circles, Post Malone. I mean, maybe, but also no.
I
Don't Start
prefer.
Now, Dua Lipa.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
I mean,
vibe.
no, Don't Start Now is a good Dua Lipa track, but it's not my favorite off of Future Nostalgia. I mean, my favorites are Levitating, Hopeless
Yes.
Escape, and oh, what's the one? Oh, Physical. Those are like my favorite.
Yeah. Everyone always spoke out of. I've been watching videos for the Grammys, prepping for this all day, and
Mhm.
everyone's like, physical, physical, physical. Dua
Yeah.
Lipa. So good. And then Everything I Wanted, not shocking at all. But honestly, let me be real here. I mean, Billy released 4 singles that year. Everything I Wanted.
Yeah.
What about Therefore I Am? What about No Time to Die? And my personal favorite, My Future.
Okay. So let me clarify. No Time to Die was also Grammy nominated and won for Best Song Written for Video.
Oh, it did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
So
see.
there's that. Therefore I Am was released outside of the Grammy eligibility window.
Oh shit.
So it's pretty much only um Therefore I Everything I Wanted or My Future. And for me, I think My Future is just a little bit too stripped back for
Yeah.
the Grammys, especially considering that one of one of Billy's calling cards is Phineas's production, and that
Mhm.
was and My Future was definitely stripped back in that production angle. So it's yeah. So Everything I Wanted was more. It was more grandiose. It displayed more of the whole Billie Eilish aesthetic vision.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and then yeah, it I didn't realize Therefore I Am. So Therefore I Am will be up for the 2022 Grammys. Ta-da.
Yeah, it won't.
It
I
won't.
I
What
doubt it will be nominated, especially if Billy drops a full length album this year. No,
Bro, our world would not be ready. Kendrick, Billy, potentially Frank.
Kendrick's
Uh
not gonna drop. I guarantee.
Kendrick, but he's already has it finished.
That
You
doesn't
get
mean a
it.
damn thing in this
I
business.
know. I know. Says Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. And then obviously the winner, I Can't Breathe. Fucking spectacular track. Love it. So good. And then If the World Was Ending by JP Sachs featuring Julia Michaels.
Never heard of that one.
What? Yeah. Which brings us to album of the year and complaint from critics everywhere. Things that have been nominated that no one's ever fucking heard of. Um, this came from, unfortunately, this feeling was unfortunately felt for one of my favorite artists, one of our favorite artists, who released a fucking banger of an album, and no one knows who he is, so nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, oh my god. It was so fun. It's so funny. There was, I think, a critic for the Washington Post who just went out of his way to talk about how nobody had heard of Jacob Collier and
Mhm.
about how it's just like a circle jerk of virtuosity, which is a valid criticism, but also just it shows so much like of like an intentional like malice and overall just shilling for more well-established artists.
Yeah, you know, particularly Jacob Collier, virtuosity. I just think of the fucking what was it? Music History 2. Music History 2, when we talked about virtuosity and, the 19th century. Jeez. Um Jacob Collier is definitely the epitome of virtuosity in this field.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, because his is the most let's just say, I guess, how do I want to phrase this?
If you've studied intense music theory, your mind will be absolutely blown, and if you haven't, you'll find it very goofy and off the wall.
Yeah, and essentially, basically, it's for the studied people. And it was there to be, I suppose, some people say it was there to be like, oh, something that's nodding at them, but then also like the people who you've studied, people that like it, that know it on a deeper level, and wanted to give its authenticity and its wow, I'm feeling it. Its authenticity and its construction value and like
Mhm.
a nod, but like it didn't win. I mean, it lost to something I think stupid, but honestly, a lot of people did like it. In terms of what I've seen, but yeah, one of my good friends, Alex Paulus, if you're listening, shout out to you. I just remember her posting on Facebook. She was just like, "How can someone with so much authenticity and such creativity and you know breaking the barriers of what we know and is like right lose to someone like Taylor Swift?" This is the epitome of what is wrong with the Grammys. Is exactly what she said, paraphrased, of course. But
Let me do some gestural ASMR for everyone. This is why Jacob Collier didn't win.
it's the
Money.
money.
Jacob Collier did not nearly sell enough records in order to pale in comparison.
Yeah.
Also, you were talking about something they wanted to give the studied and whatnot, the authenticity and creativity a nod. But when you're voting on album of the year, you also have to think about um, so many more things. Like we talked about with Megan, with how much cultural real estate she dominated. Those are the same metrics that these Grammy voters are voting on for each category. And I mean, where I stand, I also saw that post, and it kind of annoyed me, quite frankly,
Oh,
because
oh.
because and this is nothing personal, Alex. But what annoyed me about it was when Taylor Swift releases her best record in years and it's nominated for album of the year, the fact that you didn't prepare yourself emotionally for her to get that award is just your fault ultimately.
Oh, wow, you're really sending it out there. I mean, okay. So
And I think it ultimately speaks to my biggest issue with the Grammys, which is just a distrust in the institution as a whole. The fact that I know the patterns of the Grammys. I know that if Taylor's nominated in that big category, you can bet pretty decent money that given the rest of the field that she was going up against, I mean, her strongest contender in that category was probably the Dua Lipa record. And Future Nostalgia was only Dua's sophomore album, and it's really the album that broke her into mainstream popularity. So the rest of the field didn't have a freaking chance compared to how much of an establishment mainstay Taylor is.
right, I understand that. I understand that. Um, but the thing is, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it was not a good field whatsoever. I mean, I never listened to Jenny Aiko's album. I never listened to Black Puma's. Also, just got to point out the fact that Black Puma's album came out the year before, and then they only ran it because they had a deluxe edition come out.
Wait, when was it? I'm going to look up when it was released because I will say this is
2019
well,
summer.
that doesn't mean a damn thing. Because Grammy eligibility windows are very screwy because they run September to September.
It was in summer,
This okay, Black Pumas
not deluxe edition.
released June 21st, 2019. Okay, yeah. I
That's
stand
screwy,
corrected.
right? The only
Yeah.
reason I knew that was because of the videos I've been watching all day. But so you have that. You have an album that doesn't even really. I mean, it's just a deluxe edition, and I don't really know and understand the Black Pumas. I've not done enough work.
They're just kind of a standard throwback soul group with a
D-
little bit of
Got like
psychedelia
Hotel
thrown in.
California vibes,
Mhm.
like the Eagles. Everyday Life Coldplay. What the fuck are you doing here? Haven't been relevant really since Parachutes.
Well, yeah, but also this it was
They're just colossally
much
huge. They're just
much
huge
like
in general.
much like folklore. Coldplay Everyday Life was Coldplay's best work in recent years, but as you say, it just doesn't have that same cultural relevance.
I mean, yeah, and then you have, of course, my love and heart and soul, Jacob Collier, who released probably his best album yet.
Yeah.
I would say so. That or
Mhm.
Jesse Volume 2. He just keeps getting better and better, and I think definitely down the road he will continue to be a contender in these
Let's not
fields.
forget that Jacob Collier has already cemented himself in Grammy history as the first British artist to win a Grammy for his first four albums, each of
Seriously.
them. So he's already cemented himself as a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, like the Beatles didn't do that.
Well, let's be honest. Jacob Collier also doesn't have Quincy Jones taking 25% off the top of everything. Not everything about the Beatles' business model should be repeated.
Yeah, fair. But the
George Martin
Beatles are colossally successful. One of the most successful bands.
and George Martin freaking scammed them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we go on to more of the albums of the year. Definitely this was the most controversial opinion-based category in the general field. Haim.
Good ass record. Good
Ass
ass.
record. Okay, Woman in Music Part 3. I mean, what
Good
I heard
ass.
at on the show, I was very much a fan of. But I the day of, I kind of was just like, okay, so what is going up? What do I know and recognize? And I just didn't really know Haim, honestly.
Dude. Well, that's your own damn fault.
I mean, it is.
Haim is. They are a damn fine group, and Women in Music Part 3 is a great album. You got Summer Girl, you got Up From a Dream, you got Gasoline, also the
Yeah.
Gasoline remix with Taylor Swift. Freaking fire. Check
Okay.
it out, guys.
Dope. And then my pick, of course, for my realistic pick for album of the year was Future Nostalgia, which I thought,
As was mine. Yeah.
yeah, it just makes the most sense to me. I mean, I don't
But also
really.
because in terms of cultural relevance, while Dua Lipa doesn't have the name power that Taylor Swift carries, Future Nostalgia from a musical point of view is really culturally relevant in that it's cashing in on this, as the title states, this nostalgia for 80s inflected music that so dominated the airwaves and production styles of 2020. I mean, we
Yes.
can talk about another Grammy snub that drew
Yeah,
heavily
because
on
before
80s
record of the year, we need to
influence.
bring it up. We got to bring it up. The snubs out there. What the fuck was happening with the weekend, huh? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, that's such bullshit. And honestly, shout out to him for fucking being like, yeah, no, I'm not interested anymore. Him, Frank,
Mm-hmm.
um, obviously Frank Ocean. If you don't know, get on
Yeah.
that. And it's just like, it's so ridiculous. Like,
You also had this year at the Grammys three of the best children's music album nominees withdraw themselves because the Grammys didn't take a strong enough stance towards discrimination and structural racism,
Right.
especially in their nomination processes. So, yeah, in that category, it was literally a head-to-head competition.
Yeah. So yeah, and then following before obviously Folklore, Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone. I listened to the album right when it came out. I'm a Post Malone fan. I like to bop to Post. You know, it's not anything great. It's not of anything of great value, but there some of his tracks are bangers. Circles was a big track that a lot of people really liked in 2020.
Dude,
Um
I prefer the Rick Astley TikTok cover of Circles. It is a banger, and also I need to tell you all there are two professional musicians that you have to follow on TikTok because their content is so weird and
right.
so amazing. It's Rick Astley on TikTok and
Yeah.
John Mayer. John Mayer's TikTok is so freaking weird,
Really?
and because he's talked about there was one TikTok he had where he was sitting out under a tree playing guitar, and it said, "All right, I'm gonna play whiskey, 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 but I don't have a harmonica, so I'm just going to pretend that I do." And he starts playing, and he just goes, and it's all of his content is just so weird and
This is
nutty and
John
out of
Mayer.
left field, and like it shows you so much more about John Mayer because I feel like most of the grown people know John Mayer from his serial dating and party lifestyle around the late
Hmm.
aughts. But
Yeah.
dude, John Mayer is just a weirdo, and I love him.
Yeah. I just want to like so we've gone through all the albums and I just want to the big thing that people talk about is like, oh, what was it? God, what is it? I need to get this right. The big milestone that Folklore was for Taylor Swift was that what? She was the first woman to win 3 albums of the year or something. There was some big milestone for her.
I can't remember.
I don't know, but when we talk about it, she's won 3 albums of the year.
Hmm.
And okay, so the first one was Fearless. Okay, back in the day, hell yeah, that makes sense. Fearless. I don't remember the album a lot, but I knew it was very popular. Like I knew a lot of people who were very into that sound. And then 1989, which if you Google Taylor Swift sellout, that's what comes up is 1989. And then here we are with Folklore. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I can't stand her, but if that wasn't already clear already enough. But this, if you want to like digest on what, because I assume to some extent you've followed Taylor Swift as an artist because you have an opinion on Folklore. What did she do with Folklore that justified this win?
Um, First off, she went away from the pop direction of like Red and Lover,
Hmm.
and she went more in as the title suggests, indie folk direction with it. And because of that, she also brought in a lot of collaborators from the more indie stream that really kind of elevated her legitimacy of working in that genre. People like Bon Iver, people like the 1975, and because of that, it's also was more of a hearkening toward her country roots without
Okay.
being like an outright like here's another standard 2000s pop country album. So for a lot of those reasons, and plus the lyrical content and the tunes across the album are just stronger in general than in recent
Right.
years.
Yeah. No, I mean, if it's, for fans of Taylor Swift, it's from what I've heard, it is the best album she has made. And if it harkens back to that old school Taylor Swift vibe, that makes sense to me. Why,
Mhm.
I just, I can't stand it. But, that's just me.
I feel like also this is I used to be in that similar boat where I couldn't stand Taylor Swift. But over the past year, as I've learned more about the music industry and how it works, and as I've followed what Taylor's done with her career more closely, I have no recourse but to like cheer for Taylor Swift because she's
Mhm.
made some of the shrewdest business decisions. Her and Beyonce are like two of the most shrewd business women in the entire music industry, and
Hmm.
I have to applaud that forethought.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, I
And
mean that
like in
makes
that
sense.
whole like her debacle over her masters uh situation, I mean like it's Taylor Swift, someone who I didn't really like going into against
Mhm.
the Lex Luthor of the music business himself, Scooter Braun.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of have to cheer for Taylor because I really, again, I have a begrudging respect for Scooter, but he's an
Yeah. Yeah, and then also didn't she re-recorded a lot of her old albums because she couldn't get the rights for any of it or something, right?
that's all part of the Scooter Braun thing. What
Yeah.
happened was Taylor's first record label, she after 6 albums were done, I think her last record for the old it was Big Machine was the old label.
Mhm.
After her contract was fulfilled, she dropped them and she signed with I want to say Universal. Do not
Yeah.
quote me on this right off the top, but Big Machine sold to a holding company that whose biggest shareholder was Scooter Braun. So Scooter Braun effectively had control of all the masters in Big
Mhm.
Machine's catalog, which included Taylor's first 6 records. So
Right.
what she's doing now is she's re-recording all of her old songs and releasing them as her own so that she can not only get, more streams coming into her from there, but then when you go in and venture into things like sync, which is like licensing music for use in film, TV advertisements, since they have to clear it with both the master holder, which would be Scooter Braun, and the song and the whoever holds the songwriting titles and credits, which is Taylor. Taylor can veto the use of the Big Machine masters and instead just license the use of her own re-recorded masters. This is down the road when she's re-recorded more of her catalog, but she's
Mhm.
essentially driving the value of her old masters down to zero. And I just have to applaud that
Spectacular.
negotiation.
Yeah, no, that is a big power move, and I'm a big fan of that. Because these doesn't matter. Back to Art Post Cove, what we usually do. There's snakes everywhere, and they gotta go, and that's what we're trying to get rid of and talk about and bring more light to. There's snakes
Last St.
everywhere.
Patrick's Day, it was beating the snakes out of Ireland.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't have snakes. Yeah, you're fucking welcome. That's what St. Patrick said, cracking open a brewski.
Oh yeah. I think I already finished my brewski. But we still got a lot more to talk about. But yeah, no, Taylor, with that in mind, I can respect her. I just don't like the album. I really don't. Cardigan, why? Apparently,
Cardigan was a weak track off of that. It should have been Betty or Exile that was nominated.
one of the videos I was watching today was talking a lot about the last Great American Dynasty is a popular one. I don't know because it creates a really good story or something like that.
Yeah.
Thought about that. But to close out this section, why Jacob Collier didn't win? I'm going to point directly to Spotify for this. So Jacob Collier has 1.4 million monthly listeners. Taylor Swift has almost 44 million, 45 million monthly listeners. So proof is in the pudding. Virtuosity and all that, and creativity and being authentic and everything, the numbers don't lie.
No.
Unfortunately, even though the quality of music is subjective. So, that is what it is. I'm still pissed off, but cuz I'm all for Dua Lipa as the choice, but she obviously didn't win. I mean, what is she at? What is she at, Because, using monthly listeners on Spotify is a good metric to value.
You do know that Dua Lipa's an industry plant, right?
I don't.
Yeah, no, she was literally she started with a pretty solid modeling career, and then she was literally plucked by Warner to be like a rival to divas like specifically Rihanna was the one that they
Hmm.
were looking to rival against. So Warner Records just created Dua Lipa. Now, industry plants can make good music. Example A, Future Nostalgia. But
Yeah.
being aware of that backstory does kind of color a lot of the people being like, where did this Dua Lipa person come from? It colors that story.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense, But I'll say this. If we're using Spotify metrics, Dua Lipa, 62 million listeners. That's huge. That is a decent enough gap.
I feel
But
like there's definitely I feel like Taylor Swift has a lot more millennial listeners, but Dua Lipa's gotten a lot more Gen Z listeners.
absolutely.
I'm talking younger Gen Z, even branching into Gen A, which is now a thing.
Gen Alpha, my guy.
I don't know about that. I'm just a Zoomer over here.
Yeah, Zoomer. That's what is that? That's the in between, right?
No, Zoom. I mean, I think
Zennials with a Z, because there's also
Zillennials.
Zillennials, or there's also Zennials with an X, and there's Zillennials with a Z. It's some shit. It's just a bridge, a gap bridge. What is it?
I'm pretty firmly just a younger. I'm just pretty firmly like an older Gen Z person.
You're 99, right?
Yeah.
That's a Zillennial. And 96 to 99, because you are technically a 90s kid by the most technical metric there is of being born but having no recollection.
Yeah. My brother, born in 96, he really just like identifies a whole lot more with the millennial crowd than with the Gen Z crowd. But
yeah, I feel very in between, the whole idea of the Zillennials is like kind of like that. Oh, Zillennials, because I'm just now learning that's how it's said. They did have a life without an iPod, an iPhone.
It's just a bunch of people being mad that there's not a name specific enough for them, a label that's not specific enough for them, and then making one out of thin fucking air.
Well, I mean, it's the idea that they still knew how to play outside and not just play on tablets.
I know how to play outside, bitch.
That's what we are. That's our generation.
Oh.
Technically. Because we don't quite fit in completely with Gen Z, and we don't quite fit in with millennials. That's what this era is, this specific 4-year gap.
Hey, man. I will criticize chunky sneakers and skinny jeans alike. Uggs, forget about them. Silly bands, dumb. Hydro flasks, dumb.
Hey, listen, that was a little. But yo, I Heart Boobies, fucking the bracelets.
The silly bands, the ones that make the dinosaur shape.
Yeah. The girls that like would go to school in middle school with like 50 of them on their arms. Like, how are you able to like have feeling in your arm when you have 50 silly bands on?
The elastic wristband stage of life was, I think, the last time I truly felt free. I really think that all those elastic wristbands were just a tether to heaven. And once I took them off, I was chained forever to this mortal coil.
God damn it. Okay. And last but not least, record of the year. And this has caused some scrutiny, particularly with Mr. Duncan Holtzall. And I mean, it's not the best choice, but I mean, I'm a diehard Billy stan. I mean, I listen to Billy basically every day. Because Billy won, if you didn't catch on to it, but there was a lot of good choices, and it could have gone a lot of different ways. But yeah, so we're gonna go through Black Parade, Beyonce, another great track we've already discussed. Colors, Black Pumas, No Idea. Rockstar, DaBaby, and Roddy Ricch. Say So, Doja Cat, Everything I Wanted, Billie Eilish. Don't Start Now, Dua Lipa, phenomenal. Was big on TikTok, I believe. Yeah. Circles, Post Malone, really good track for the year. I mean, a lot of people loved it. And then Savage, obviously spectacular, very influential in the TikTok era that we live in.
So, my issue. Well, here's my position on it. I think the reason that Everything I Wanted won was because, again, Billy's just kind of a new darling of the Recording Academy.
She's literally a god to the Academy.
And also considering that Record of the Year, that criteria encompasses the entire production. Like I was talking about earlier, this is now looking at Phineas and how he's constructing these instrumentals and creating this dark, intimate bedroom pop sort of atmosphere that Billy's known for. So yeah, of course she's gonna win. My problem though is that from my ear, I mean, we talked about the 4 great tracks she released this year, and these are all to a certain extent, except for No Time to Die. These are all just stopgaps and goals. They're just there to keep her fan base happy while she's working on her full length follow up to When We All Fall Asleep. So for me, it's like the awarding of this song to Everything I Wanted, which served no real artistic purpose. Like I Can't Breathe served an artistic vision, right? Served an artistic purpose. To a certain extent, Savage served the same artistic purpose. Everything I Wanted doesn't really have that same vehicle. So the rewarding of that and the rewarding of mediocrity, especially within for a specific artist, didn't think it was one of Billy's best musical compositions. So to still be awarding that when there are more like artistically fulfilling records in that category, I think that's a misstep on the behalf of the Academy.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't it certainly wasn't a bop like Bad Guy. So it was kind of like
And it also didn't, again, cultural real estate. Folklore dominated cultural real estate. Megan Thee Stallion, Best New Artist, dominated cultural real estate. And compared to the rest of the field, Everything I Wanted didn't take up that same space. It took up space within the ecosystem of Billy's fan base, of which you're a part of it. I don't necessarily consider myself a part of that. Granted, I love Billie Eilish. I love that record, but I'm not playing Billie Eilish on repeat like I am with some other artists. So for me, it didn't dominate that same sort of larger scale conversation. So I didn't think it was as deserving of the award as say Savage or Say So.
Right. Yeah, no, Savage, Say So. I'm gonna give it to Post. He had a decent shot. It was a good song. It was a really good song. People loved it.
I would say
if anything he had a shot at was maybe Circles.
Yeah, it was definitely Post's strongest foot forward, and he would have had a stronger chance in other years of the Grammys.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Don't Start Now was also good. Rockstar, DaBaby. I have no idea. Black
you know what is
again.
good that I didn't realize until just now? All of the general field winners were women.
Huh. Yeah, they were. That's dope.
Because I know that the Grammys came under fire like last year or the year before. Well, not last year because Billy won everything, but a few years back about gender and gender presence within their nominations.
Yeah. And of course, truthfully, record of the year should have been
what?
Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, because it hit 52 weeks on the frickin' Billboard 100 in the top 10 for 52 weeks. That's never been done before.
Yeah, it's absolute insanity to me, especially because Starboy, the Weeknd album from 2016, was so strongly present at that Grammy ceremony. If I'm not mistaken, let me do some research, but I recalled that Starboy was nominated for Album of the Year when it came out.
I believe so.
But let me just look.
Wait, 2016 you said?
Yeah, it was released in 2016. It won
2017.
It won Best Urban Contemporary Album.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is yikes. That's big ol' yikes. And it wasn't nominated for anything besides Best Urban Contemporary. But The Weeknd showed himself to be chill with the Grammys, at least at that time. But
yeah.
So it's just I don't know what the hell happened. And I was joined along with the chorus of so much of hip hop Twitter being like, "What the hell happened?"
Yeah, seriously. No, so to review, because we're getting to that time where you guys probably don't want to listen anymore. So who got snubbed this year?
Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Bridgers, number one. Phoebe Bridgers got snubbed. Best
Elton
album.
John is out there hitting someone right now because she didn't
Yes.
win a Grammy.
Yes, seriously. The album Punisher, no skips, zero skips. That's like not a thing ever.
Mhm.
There's always a skip. There is always a skip, and there wasn't one on this single fucking album. Like seriously. So that fucking After Hours, The Weekend.
Yeah,
Come on,
big old snub. Big old snub.
big snub. I mean, because we're both fans here. Frank Ocean, come on, Dear April or Cayendo. Mwah.
No, no, no. Those should not have been Grammy nominated. I'm sorry.
Listen,
Those were
Dear
just
April,
no,
the
no.
only one in the crowd.
They're not. They're not.
But
No,
they're great tracks.
they're
Or
good
are
on
they
their
great
own.
because Frank actually released them?
That that's tea.
That's
That
the
is
tea.
tea.
They're
But
good
beyond
because
that,
Frank just like pissed in a urinal and then we got those and he's just like, here's what you get. And we're like, oh my God, we're so thankful Frank released something for
dude,
the
we
year.
if there's a fan base that is so down bad, it is the Frank Ocean fan base.
Seriously. Oh my God. So Frank Ocean up for debate, but not really Grammy winner tracks. God, who else got snubbed? I mean, Doja Cat, I would say, to some extent.
To a certain extent, I would say so.
That was a
I will
damn
say
good song.
the rap categories on the whole, because I usually look out for those.
Yeah.
I it was a pretty weak field this year.
Yeah.
I will say, I my predictions pretty much all came true in the rap and R&B sections. Lockdown, Anderson .Paak,
Yeah.
Silk Sonic probably going to be album of the year. Um, I'm sad that Alfredo didn't win, but King's Disease was definitely Nas's best project in recent years for
Right.
best rap album. Um, Prog R&B, which is what they renamed the urban contemporary category.
Thundercat, huh?
Yeah, Thundercat won. Dragon Ball Durag's a good track. I had two favorites and a prediction, and none of them were Thundercat. My favorites were the Free Nationals album and Chilombo, but I predicted that the Chloe and Halle joint would take it. But no, none of them were even around. R&B song better than I imagined. The Robert Glasper with her again and Michelle, sublime. Alternative, I favorited Punisher, but Fetch the Bolt Cutters took it. And I actually just listened to Fetch the Bolt Cutters because it was after the Grammys, it was after the Pitchfork gave it a 10. And I have to say, it was a kind of a weird, groovy record. It kind of wrapped you into this really iconic, and I say iconic in that it's very unique, the sound world that Fiona Apple takes you into. It's like, it's kind of rock, it's kind of folk, it's kind of indie. There's like all these honky tonk influenced pianos around it. If I had to recommend a track from that album, if you listen to For Her by Fiona Apple, it's like
I've heard a lot about her, yeah.
Well, for her, it's the track off of Fetch the Bolt Cutters. It's this super sublime and transcendent, like it ends with this really like ethereal chorus sort of deal. Just give it a listen at home. It's a great track.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. And then also the last thing on the agenda cannot move on without congratulating Beyonce for 28 Grammy wins. Like she's so deserving.
Yeah.
That was big hype. So big hype for that. I was really just like, wow, that's spectacular.
Yeah.
She deserves it. You know?
Dude, I also cannot wait until, I can't wait until Billie Eilish or Phineas has a child, because they'll just start putting their kid on all their production credits just so that they can beat Blue Ivy.
Oh my God. That's right. That's right. Beyonce's kid.
Beyonce and Jay-Z. Don't discount. I figured that a New York bitch like yourself would be
I know. But yeah. that was probably the thing I was most happiest about was that Beyonce got 28 Grammys
Yeah,
total over
pretty
her
solid.
period as an artist, and I'm excited for her to push further with that and make it
Yeah,
really hard to beat. Because I think she's really capable of that, and I don't think she's stopping anytime soon.
I think. Well, I know for a fact off the top of my head, I think the most nominated artist of all time is Ennio Morricone,
Hmm.
was nominated 52 times for Grammys.
Wow.
But I feel like because Beyonce's not even 40 yet, or maybe just 40. That's still a hell of a lot of career to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So she's sailing. She's like, oh, now I'm 28. Let's make it 48.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, no, I mean, tearing it apart, it's understandable that the Grammys suck.
the Grammys the Grammys could have done worse this year.
Yeah, what was it? The 2015 was really bad, from what I heard.
That was awful. That
That
was
was the worst
awful.
one, and then 2016 was like the best one of the last decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a little video on that, so yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, could have been worse.
Could have been worse, my friend.
So crossing our fingers, next year we'll probably do this again. If we're still
Every single year.
rolling. We're gonna always shit on the Grammys, but maybe we won't shit on them next year. Maybe they'll just keep getting better. Because this hasn't been going on long enough for them to get a fucking hint.
That's
Um so yeah, guys, this has been fun. I am nice and tipsy. So we're gonna close this out. Thank you guys so much for watching. We've had fun dishing the dirt, talking the tea about the Grammys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video in this podcast. Maybe someday we'll be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, maybe probably after this gig that we're having on Friday. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time. Peace.